Welcome to the House of Wellness. Our doors are open. Today, the skills of parenthood. It's tricky, how to get it right.
Move over breakfast, why lunch is the most important meal of the day.
Plus, superfoods. They may make you superhuman.
It's a carrot and it goes super fast.
And it's all about the game. We look at the value of sports and your child.
It's not just about activity, but also we've got to think just as importantly about the mental stimulation as well.
All that and much more coming your way today.
So let's all get well, stay well, live well, and look fabulous.
Right here in the House of Wellness. Hello everybody, welcome back to the house. We're just comparing notes about which meal is the most important.
I love all the meals, but most importantly, I'm eating too many probably at the moment.
A lot of meals, giving it a fair crack. I can't generally eat breakfast till after I've exercised because it feels a bit funny and it feels like it's going to come up.
Oh, okay.
But the fact that lunch may be the most important meal of the day, that's interesting.
Yeah, well, we've always been told that breakfast was the most important meal, so it's a little confusing. We will have more on that later when we're joined by our dietitian, nutritionist Susie Burrell.
Also joining us on the sofa this week, we have a very special guest, direct from the Real Housewives of Melbourne, Gina Liano.
Ooh la la.
She's feisty, she's fun.
And all our usual crew will be joining us. GQ is back to answer your calls. And Sexy Sam Wood has a stretch or two for you.
Sexy,
Ed.
huh? Right, interesting. Don't forget, of course, you can find us online at this amazing website, houseofwellness.com.au. Gerald is there too. You can email him direct with a question.
Yeah, there's loads of great health tips there. I have been on there quite often getting my tips. You can call us as well, 1-800-469-788.
Yep, and we'd love to speak to you here on the show. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook, another easy portal, great site as well. Now, parenting is one of the toughest jobs going around. Good luck with it.
I am nervous.
What could go wrong? But every parent wants to do the best they can for their children and for themselves, of course, as well.
I know, I am absolutely terrified, but it is coming whether I like it or not. So there is a lot to think about. Now, I do want to make sure that I bring up a happy, safe and healthy child.
Yeah, so how can we do that? We're joined by the Chief Happiness Officer, Dr. Tim Sharp, who's with us today. Hello, Tim.
G'day.
I know being a parent, it's so challenging in so many ways. You need patience, energy, creativity. Could we do even more?
Yeah, look, I think one of the biggest mistakes people make, so I advocate what's called positive parenting, it's a phrase that's used, but one of the biggest mistakes that parents make is confusing positive parenting with being nice all the time or giving our kids all they want, being soft.
Are you soft?
I'm Sheriff Dad.
Are you?
Yep. Yep.
But what we need to remember is that although happiness is important and health is important, we need to teach our kids discipline. They need to learn how to work hard towards something. I mean, I was chatting to my son the other day. He complained that his homework wasn't fun. And so I said, look, not everything in life is fun. And that's actually an important message. It might sound a bit cliched.
I grew up with that and I was sick of hearing that when I was little, but it is true. Do you spoil your kids?
Where I can, but you've got to pull it back a little bit. I know you've got teenagers, I'm sorry to hear that. But we do try and make them happy, and that's not doing the wrong thing, is it?
Not at all, not at all. No, look, happiness and fun and play is, in fact, that's very, very important. And that's one of the things I was trying to teach my son is to bring some play into his homework. So if we can make serious tasks enjoyable, that's a great win-win. But we also need to remember that, we need to teach them values that will help them in the long term. We need to teach them discipline so they can manage their own lives. We've got to remember that we won't be there forever. We can't manage everything for them. We can't do everything for them. So part of our role is to teach them how to do a lot of that themselves.
So what are those characteristics that we want to teach them or instill?
Well, the key word there, and I think we've forgotten a lot about this, is characteristics. What we want to build is character.
Yeah.
Right.
And that word's sort of gone out of favour a bit in recent years, although it's coming back into favour a bit. But character is about, well, understanding values. So what's really, really important to you and what do you want them to find important? And particularly strengths. So there's a particular concept within positive psychology called strength-based parenting, which is focusing on what our kids are best at. I think too often we focus on what they're worst at or the mistakes they make, and of course they're going to make mistakes, they're learning. So we do need to correct those at times, but it's also important not to forget what are the positive attributes that really help our kids or can help our kids stand out?
I like that. I often ask, it's a good little psych trick. Rather than saying, how was school today? And you get a grunt. I always ask my kids, how did you use your strengths today? And they go,
I like that.
And they have to think of an answer and actually engage me. Oh, do you like that?
Yeah, another really simple question is, what went well today? So that's a great positive parenting sort of
I'll write these down for you.
Yeah, you know what else I like around the dinner table? What was your highlights and lowlights? Because we want to teach them resilience. We want to teach them all of these things. Everything that we're doing, is it rubbing off on them, or do we actually have to be better people to instill better characteristics?
Well, both, all of the above. I mean, it's one of the most important ways that our kids will learn is through watching us. So one of the best ways to be a good parent is to role model the sorts of behaviours.
Some pressure.
But that doesn't mean we've got to be perfect. And in fact, that's an important lesson too. At some stage, our kids are going to learn we're not perfect, but that's okay. What we can then teach them is how to manage those imperfections, how to learn from mistakes. That's just as important. It's a very important parenting lesson.
We're going to teach our kids. You've got to teach us. What are some top tips for parents, please?
Again, don't mistake being a good parent with being best friends.
Yeah.
Remember that discipline is really, really important as well, and role model. Do the sorts of things you want your kids to do.
Absolutely.
Naughty corner will be my favourite place.
Great advice. Good on you, Dr. Tim.
Thank you so much, Dr. Tim.
Thanks for that. Well, now we've put our Parenting 101 skills into place, creating positive, happy, active and safe children. There is one more job.
Yes, maintaining a nutritional diet for you and your family is also super important.
Maybe those superfoods we keep hearing about are the answer. We sent Zoe Bingley-Pullin to find out.
Oats, blueberries, avocado, broccoli. When it comes to the normally mild-mannered world of nutrition, something very strange has been happening in the last few years. A small group of everyday foods have found themselves suddenly superpowered. They are superfoods.
Do you know what a superfood is? What is it?
Elephant.
Would you know one if you saw one?
I want banana.
Banana? You reckon banana's a superfood?
Apple. Rhinoceros.
Well, today I've come to my daughter's preschool to chat to her classmates about the importance of good nutrition and even how to spot a superfood if they came flying by.
My name is Zoe. I'm Emily's mum. Hi, Em.
I know that.
But I'm a nutritionist, so what I do is I teach kids about... What do you think I do? What do you think I teach them about? Food, exactly.
The term superfood is not science-based in any way. It's more a marketing buzzword, really. But the traditional definition of a superfood is one that is rich in antioxidants, fibre or fatty acids and considered beneficial to a person's health. That can describe a lot of foods. So what do the superfoods look like?
This superhero and she's wearing one mask on the top and one on the bottom. It's a carrot and it goes to the faucet. Hey, look at mine! And it can fly.
Tell me a little bit about yours.
What
is it? What?
Muscles.
Most superfoods are plant-based and contain something known as phytochemicals, which are natural compounds believed to protect cells from damage. As a result, many people believe they can prevent heart disease, certain cancers, stave off aging, and even aid weight loss. As for these superpowers, I'm not so sure, but the kids are into it.
This gives you super strength. All right, let's pop that into the blender.
3, 2, 1.
Blending! Superfoods is a term that came up in the 90s, but look at what's going on here. These kids are loving food because we're terming it super. We're having fun with it. So if it gets kids to eat more healthy, I don't have a problem if we call it superfoods.
I want more.
You fantastic if you want more. And there you go. It's easy to see why superfoods as a concept is popular. Being able to consume a food that protects you from all kinds of harm is a seductive idea. But the reality is you are likely to have a whole bunch of superfoods in your kitchen and not even know it.
After the break, Zoe cooks up a superfood dish in superhuman time.
Is it true or just lunchtime gossip? We look into why lunch is the most important meal of the day.
And there she is. We're about to meet up with Real Housewife of Melbourne star Gina Liano, who shares the other side of her life. That and so much more, right after the break.
An internet search of the term superfoods will generate list upon list of items that lay claim to having superpowers. The more exotic kinds like quinoa, acai and goji berries are undeniably packed with nutrients, but the reality is you are likely to have a whole bunch of superfoods in your kitchen and not even know it.
So I thought I'd cook for you a superfood, simple dish which is really, really tasty. It's called gordi. It's like gnocchi. And I'm going to do a yummy tomato sauce. So what we need to start with first is wilting our baby spinach.
Once you've wilted the spinach, slice up some cherry tomatoes. Add your garlic, salt, then some parsley.
Parsley is not only a fantastic herb with great flavour, it also contains a little bit of iron, and let's not forget the beautiful amount of fibre, and anything that has that green colour to it really helps to alkalise. It gives us an elevated amount of good nutrition in our diet.
Next, fry in a nice hot pan.
If you put an acid like lemon zest into it, it just balances it. It's a really lovely complementary way to kind of get the nice harmony in the food that we eat. And you can add olive oil. I like to add it a little bit at the end. I don't want to heat that olive oil too much because olive oil really is a big part of the ingredients. It's not just something to stop the dish sticking.
For the gordi or gnocchi, throw in your Parmesan cheese.
Hard cheeses, there's lots of research that now says how good they actually are for you when it comes to heart health. My egg, pop that in there.
Chop some spinach, ricotta cheese.
And these are all your wet ingredients. Just fold this through lightly. Just with the back of your spoon, I find is a little bit easier.
Add the flour is important.
Now, the flour I'm using is spelt flour. Again, it does contain gluten. It is a wheat grain. But the reason why I like to use the spelt is it's the unhybridized version of wheat. So simply what that means is that it's retained a lot of the enzymes in it. And for a lot of people who have a gluten sensitivity, they find wheat like spelt and things like kumut that little bit easier for their body to digest.
Mix it all up and then roll out your gordi. Cook in boiling water and there you go. A superfood pasta in a super fast 5 minutes. And it's guaranteed to put a smile on everyone's face.
And mine too. Zoe's back with me. You brought props. Hello.
Ta-da!
Do superfoods need to be sourced from the Amazon to be super?
Absolutely not. From a nutritional standpoint, you can get such good food as long as it's whole food, limited processed ideally.
Yeah.
And really, it's about combining these different foods and having a balanced diet overall.
May I have a little sample?
Go for it.
Okay. This
Thought
is
you'd never
fantastic.
ask.
Well, this is great. So this is the gnocchi that you made.
Yeah. Oh, hello.
Well, here comes the swooping seagull, everyone.
Ready at hand with his fork. I like it.
Always ready with a fork.
You are hilarious.
What do you think?
That's superb. Well done. I'll be back.
How beautiful. Do you need to be a cordon bleu trained chef like you to get kids to eat nutritional things, though?
No, look, I always say if you've got 5 key dishes and you've got good whole food ingredients, it's about you having fresh, exciting flavours, and don't stop adding new flavours. Kids' palates need to develop. It's really, really important that we take them slightly out of their comfort zones because you want them to have as variety as they possibly can have.
And in a big group like that, they didn't want to look like the odd ones out not eating.
Fortunately not.
Yeah, good tactic. Thank you, Zoe. Here's Zoe.
From superfoods to the right time to eat. In many cultures, lunch is a big meal of the day, often followed by a nice little afternoon nap. Yes, heaven. For us, though, lunch is usually a quick sandwich or a salad grabbed on the run, maybe even eaten while you're still working. And it turns out we may be getting it completely wrong. So to tell us more about the importance of our midday meal is expert dietitian and nutritionist Susie Burrell. Welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're doing it all wrong. I was under the impression that breakfast was the most important meal and, you know, if you skip a little lunch, doesn't matter.
You know, it's really interesting because we've always been taught that, but the truth is that lunch will set us up with our nutrition for the day ahead, because the common thing we see is people skip lunch or they're having it really late in the day, 2 or 3 o'clock, or we're picking up something on the run. You know, we're getting a big, thick Turkish bread sandwich or a couple of sushi rolls.
Delicious.
And the issue is nutritionally, It means we're not satisfied, we're not getting the right nutrient mix, and it can lead to overeating later in the day and long-term weight gain over time.
So if we are time deficient, like we all are, and we're grabbing something on the go, it's often the wrong thing, like the sushi rolls. I thought that was healthy. What should we be eating?
Well, the issue is that most of the lunches that we'll pick up on the go tend to be very high in carbohydrate.
Right.
A lot of rice, a lot of noodles, a lot of thick bread. And what happens with that is that it spikes our insulin levels, it spikes our glucose, and then we're hungry a couple of hours later and we haven't had the protein and the salad.
I didn't think that was just because I was eating the carbs. I thought it was just because I'm hungry all the time.
And it drives our appetite, you see. So we're ending up at the vending machine at 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Getting the sugar hit.
Absolutely. So the first thing is you want to make sure you get the nutrient balance right with your lunch. You're looking for protein, some tuna, some salmon, some chicken. You want good quality carbs, but not too much. Some sweet potato, some beans, some brown rice, maybe a slice or two of whole grain bread.
What's the
proportions? Quarter carbohydrate, quarter protein, but half, most importantly, the salad and vegetables, which is what we miss out on if we have a sushi roll, because it's mostly rice, a tiny bit of protein, and we think we're being healthy and there's no bulk to it. So you really want it to be quite a significant meal. And so if you're ordering a salad, it's got those components. If you're having a sandwich, you want some soup or salad to go with it.
Right.
Thinking of it as a small meal will sustain you throughout the remainder of the day, make sure you don't get those sugar cravings later, and shift your calorie intake forward so you're not eating most of your calories at night when we're more likely to gain weight.
When I love my calories at night, that's okay. What about when you're working? You know, everyone has the big bain-maries, and there's the Asian, and we've got all these takeaways. What can we do if there's not a salad around? Like, what's the best option?
It's really challenging because we did a small study where we went to the food courts and bought the pasta and the stir fry, and they contain double the calories of what we would recommend you'd have at lunchtime. So go back to basics. If you can find a roast and some vegetables, if you can find a salad with a slice of bread, or if you're having a good old sandwich made, get one made. Don't buy the pre-made ones that are thick with Turkish bread and schnitzel and cheese and avocado, because they are packed full of calories. Get a plain wrap or a plain sandwich with salad on it, and that's going to be pretty good at keeping you full for a longer period of time without those heavy carbohydrates and without all the extra fat that you're getting from fried fillings like schnitzel and of course the side of chips that come with so many of those lunches.
Is a wrap better than a sandwich or a Turkish?
Definitely. So if you get a thin wrap packed with lots of salad, it's 100 times better than that thick Turkish bread, which is the default when you're buying a sandwich away from home. But you know, even better, packing your own is always going to be better nutritionally. Take your leftovers
Would that be
from
one of your
dinner.
top 3 tips?
Absolutely. If you can take leftovers from home or make your own sandwich or salad, it's going to be 100 times better nutritionally. You're going to know what's in it. It's going to be far lower in calories. It's going to be more cost effective because of course the lunches we buy are $15, $20 each day.
So pack your lunch.
If you can.
Skip the carbs.
Keep the carbs low. So get rid of the processed white breads, the thick bread, the white rice, the noodles.
Yes, and amp up the veggies and protein.
Yes, and have it early. The earlier the better.
Perfect, I love it. Thank you so much, Susie. Make sure you stick around after the break. There's a lot more to come.
And he's back in the hot seat soon. Gerald Quigley, the GQ, joining us to answer all your calls and questions.
And later, Sam Wood has got your back with stretches to help back pain.
All that and so much more. We will see you right after the break. Welcome back, everyone, to the House of Wellness. It's that time again. It's our favourite time. Your calls live on air, and to help us out, we're joined by our community pharmacist and all-round highly qualified nice guy, Gerald Quigley. Hi, GQ.
Hello, Ed. Hello, Zoe.
There's no point in me being on this show if I can't use you at my disposal.
Fine, go for your life.
How do we avoid stretch marks? And I'm talking about pregnant women, but also just in general.
Stretch marks are really a reflection, Zoe, on skin moving and stretching. And in theory, it goes back to its normal shape. And I hope you are massaging well and using appropriate... You are?
Twice a day.
Twice
Is that
a
all
day.
I can do?
Do you do that, or Benji comes and helps?
No, I just do it myself.
Well, that's the most important thing. There's no magic... No, it's not that difficult. It's enjoyable.
No, I mean, is that the only thing we can do to avoid a stretch mark?
Well, and the important thing as well is that once you've had your baby, you follow the instructions from probably your physiotherapist to get your body back into the svelte shape that it was.
So those tight pant things, you know, those...
Oh, comfort pants. Fantastic.
Yeah. Ed wears them all the time.
Hey, I'm stretching with Sam Wood over there in a sec. Will I have stretch marks?
Probably.
Come back to that. Let's take some of your calls right now. We have Ken from Kira standing by in Queensland. Go on, Ken.
Just want to know what I do with hives. I've got hives at the moment.
He's not talking about bees, is he?
I would be surprised.
2 dad jokes in 1 segment. Just calm down.
Stop it.
Come on.
Ken, hives, there's usually a trigger. So what you've got to do is try and identify the trigger, what's caused that. It might be a food substance, it might be something you've touched. So identify that. And there are antihistamines that you can buy from your pharmacist that will take the itching and the irritation away. And that's the most important thing.
Alrighty. Our number, by the way, 1800 469 788. Let's grab Marie, who's on the line in Jindalee, also in Queensland.
I'm interested in knowing what to do when you see varicose veins coming and what you can do to prevent them and the different ways you can approach dealing with them.
Yes.
Marie, varicose veins are a reflection of your veins not being able to stretch when they're needed and then go back to shape. So there is a herb, funny names, called horse chestnut. And that herb, that herb is designed to strengthen vein walls. So it means it takes the pressure off the little bulges which we see as the varicose veins.
As a tablet?
It's a capsule.
Okay, great.
Always wanted a pony, now you get horse chestnut.
Yes.
We have our final caller, Lolita, is in Greystanes, New South Wales. Hello.
How to treat very dry face skin and body skin. Problem, allergy, reaction, very sensitive skin.
Lolita, there is a substance called urea, which comes, it's a component of the skin.
I thought that was
Zoe.
a part of the body.
No, urea is a component of the skin, and it comes in a cream base. And for really dry skin, little bits, it works beautifully.
Okay.
So face, knees, things like that, backs of elbows, things like that.
Yeah, good.
And then you need, Lolita, as well, to find a cream range, a moisturising range, which is specific for you. So you seek some advice on that.
Okay, good. More of your calls coming up a little bit later in the show. Let's take a look at what everyone's talking about this week. I love this off Instagram. Look at this rabbit. This is Henry, a giant comfort rabbit. That is a big floppy rabbit. Oh, I mean, we've seen dogs going through hospitals.
I don't think they'd sit well with your dogs, really,
He's a
would
comfort rabbit. He's a Flemish giant, and he spends his time visiting hospitals and keeping kids happy. Oh, I want one. It's enormous.
That
What did you
is
see?
huge.
I know, what a great rabbit.
In my culture, we do eat them, but I wouldn't eat that one. So I was following I want to say this right,
Vordestrasse,
who is also pregnant and kind of giving the do's and don'ts of what you say to a pregnant woman. I appreciate it. She's speaking for all of us here.
Yeah.
You know what isn't great? When people are like, you're so big. I don't want to hear that.
Fine if you're a Flemish rabbit, not so good if you're halfway along. GQ.
And,
what do you like?
Being touched. I mean, I don't mind it.
Yeah.
I don't mind it.
Okay,
good.
What have you
look,
saw?
I check up on Sophie Vergara every now and again.
Of course you do. Of course you do.
Just to stay in the news.
Yes.
And here she is promoting the importance of the mammograms and mammogram ladies. So look, it's important. 1 in 8 Australian women will be diagnosed with breast cancer before the age of 85. That's awful statistics.
Yeah.
So here is a way of just getting involved, being aware.
Remember, anytime you're quoting Gloria from Modern Family, you have to use air bonnies.
Oh my gosh, another bunny. We just talked about the Flemish.
all
That's
coming
crazy. Okay, and don't forget, everyone, you can find us at houseofwellness.com.au. If you missed us last week, you can catch us there.
Yep.
Hey, and while you're there, drop Gerald a line by email or call us direct on 1800 469 788. And don't forget to like us on Facey while you're entering that giveaway. And next up, Sam's got your back, Ed.
Time for another 60 Seconds with Sam this week. Fitness expert Sam Wood is with us. Mate, I bet you get a lot of clients with sore backs trying to find a way around it, right?
Absolutely. I reckon it's one of the most common things in the general population that people suffer from. And I think what the thing we have to identify here is when it comes to a sore back, it's often not the back that is the cause of the problem. It's tightness and weakness.
Okay.
So I've got 3 things that can all often help with a sore back. So we stretch out our hips.
Yep.
Because the hip flexors get really tight. We spend so much time sitting down that they shorten and tighten. So arms up, hold a hip flexor stretch for 30 seconds at home if you're joining us. 30 seconds each side if you're joining us at home. There we go.
Point to where we should be feeling it, there.
Yep, the top there, yep. So big breath in. Make it hurt a little bit of soreness, a little bit of pain is okay. That means that muscle's stretching out. So 30 seconds each side.
Yep.
Then we want to strengthen the deep back muscles so our hands are directly under our chest Our knees are directly under our hips, and we do an alternating leg and arm extension. So my left arm and right leg extend, thumb facing the ceiling, and then my right arm and left leg.
Oh, okay. Roof like a hunting
There
dog.
we go. So keep the head down. That's right. Do a lot of animal moves, don't we, Ed?
Yeah.
There we go.
Oh, that's good.
So 30 of those.
Yep.
And then a good old-fashioned plank to work those deep core muscles. So we all focus on the top layer, the six-pack muscles, but it's the ones below that count. So
Plank.
Here we go, Ed.
All right, plank it out.
Plank it out.
Try and breathe.
Yep, always breathe, squeeze your butt.
Whoop.
Keep nice and compact.
Oh, right here.
And we'll be here for a couple of hours.
Okay, how long? 30, 30 and 30. So that's technically 90 seconds with sand. That's a
it.
one-off, but I'll allow it.
Okay.
Good man.
Okay. Thanks, Ed.
Thanks
for
buddy.
the extra
You
time.
stay. You've got plenty to go. Stay with us. There is more to come. The A to Z of vitamins is on the way with Gerald giving us the benefits of glucosamine. And after the break, it's me with some great kids and the importance of the game. Game day. Come on, boys. Press buttons. Let's shoot some hoops. We're back here after the break. This is a story about growing up. That time of life when playing games and having fun are serious business.
Sport is very important to me. It's also important to my father because he wants me to excel, be better than him.
What you got? You got nothing. If he wasn't playing sport, I mean, he'd be a frustrated kid. You know, he could turn to many things that kids go down up to a different track, which could lead to wrong things, getting in trouble.
Roger Marsh and his son Lathan are mad keen basketballers. Lathan wanted to play rugby league, but a kidney condition made full contact sports too dangerous.
I said, OK then, well, I'll take him up to the local gym here and see if we can get him to play basketball. And yeah, he never looked back.
3 years ago, father and son joined the Liverpool Spartans. Dad as the coach and Lathan as the rookie.
I dream of flying really high, touching the dunking, honestly, and being a good role model, smart, and making my parents proud.
Now let me tell you a bit about the Spartans. These guys have been playing together for 3 seasons. The first 2 were a bit of a struggle, with just 1 win and 21 losses. But then this season, everything changed, and they made it all the way to the finals. That's what grassroots sports can do, give you lifetime memories. Well, sport played such a massive part of my life growing up. I was the last of 5 pretty hyperactive sons in my family at an all-boys school, and little did we know it at the time, but all those hours spent out the backyard throwing down cricket balls, kicking the footy, shooting hoops with my brothers and friends was quietly, secretly teaching us some really important facts of life, namely goal setting, routine, respect, and really importantly, teamwork. The reason I'm bringing this bus out to the Spartans' home court is because I've got a surprise in store, a reward for all their hard work and commitment. Spartans, how are you, boys? Howdy, 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 howdy. Howdy, 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 howdy. Gather through, let me see the skills. Make it. The round thing. The Sydney Kings, pretty hot team. They had a hot streak last year, really professional guys. We've got a little surprise for you. We are going to their first game of the season in a matter of hours.
Whoa!
Who's going to be the guns of the season?
Travis!
Okay, that seems pretty clear. And with that, we head to Olympic Park for an audience with the Sydney Kings, this city's NBL team since 1988. Let's wind it back a couple of seasons to when you first saw this group of kids playing. How were they?
Well, they were like, put it this way, they were like a bunch of seagulls chasing the ball.
Swarming on a chip.
Yes.
1, 2, 3, Sparta!
Game day. Come on, boys. Yeah. Go Spartans. Go Spartans. Hop, 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 hop. It's not yet game time, but something just as exciting. We are in the bowels of the Kudos Bank Arena for an exclusive training session now on court with the NBL's Sydney Kings. Come on, let's do it. These guys have reached the top of professional basketball in Australia. They earn big bucks, travel the world, and get to do what they love every single day. But all of them started out as kids with big dreams, just like our under-14 Spartans.
Go.
However, the sad fact is that these days, 40% of Aussie kids just don't play sport at all. The lure of computer games and screen time is just too great. The Australian government recommends at least 60 minutes of moderate to vigorous exercise every day. It's been shown to improve memory and cognitive ability. In short, playing sport makes kids smarter.
It's not just about activity, but also we've got to think just as importantly about the mental stimulation as well. The way in which you build those social connections, the social bonds, the communities come together. A lot of it's based around sport. So it plays a vital role in the wellness of the community.
As tip-off approaches, there's just enough time for our Spartans to spend a few moments with their role models. Then the crowds pour in, and it's game time. Large, mediums, large, shirt for you, large, you'll be large. And just to put the icing on the cake...
So the nice guys at the Kings said Elijah can be the guy chosen out of the whole stadium to bring the game ball down before the tip-off.
Mate, you're about to go down to centre court. A little bit nervous. What do you think's going to happen?
I'm a little bit nervous, but I should be all right.
Yeah, hell yeah. All right. Hey, got a little butt slap. Yeah, good boy. Tip off. Apart from the spectacular world-class basketball, a night at the NBL is brilliant family entertainment. There's music, dancing, pyrotechnics, more music, and heaps of audience participation. The halftime Sharp Shots competition is sponsored by Chemist Warehouse. Get the ball in the hoop from halfway and you can win some serious money. Yes! $3,000! The story at full time was not as happy for the Sydney Kings, but for our young Spartans, a day out with your teammates is a winner every time.
That was my greatest season I've had yet. And now, here we are. Yeah.
Aww,
Fantastic
the
stuff.
kids.
The Spartans, they were great kids, Zoe. They were lovely boys.
That makes me want to go to the NBL, and I'm allergic to sports. Do you know what was scary, though? 40% of all Aussie kids aren't playing sport.
Yeah, that's terrible, because the stats show that kids who exercise regularly and play sports, team sports and so on, perform better at school. I think the thing is they're secretly learning other stuff without realising it while they're playing all the team sports.
Of course. That's why I don't know how to share. I should have been playing sports as a kid. So this $100,000 Chemist Warehouse Sharp Shot, I mean, I'll go just for that.
Yeah.
That is epic.
Yeah, so that is fun. So you have to take a shot from the halfway point. The guy missed it.
Is that far?
Yeah, it's a long way.
Okay.
And he missed that couple of shots at it. Then they put him on the three-point line and sunk it. And the place went bananas.
What do you
He
get for that, 20 grand?
They give him 3,000.
Ooh!
So
I was actually choking.
He had a great night that night. That was good fun.
So you love the music, the disco,
If you haven't been to an NBL game, go this season. The music is pumping like one of those nightclubs you love. The pyrotechnics go off. There's dancing, cheerleaders. The crowd are into it. The screen comes up with bongos. You all have to get up and dance. There's kissing cam.
Oh, wow, you had a busy night.
It's fun. It's a really fun night at the NBL. Check it out this season if you can.
Don't forget, every Sunday morning, we're on the radio all around the country with Larry Emder and the team at the House of Wellness.
You will find us on 2GB in Sydney, 3AW in Melbourne, 4BC Brizzy, 5AA Adelaide and 6PR in Perth. And make sure you stick around to see more of us. Plenty coming up after the break.
Our pharmacist and medical herbalist Gerald Quigley is back for the A to Z of vitamins. It's all about food for your joints.
And next we're joined by Real Housewives of Melbourne star Gina Liano. You better believe she'll be telling us how it is.
See you soon back here at the House of Wellness. Welcome back to the House of Wellness. Joining us on the couch, I am excited, from the Real Housewives of Melbourne, the lovely one and only Gina Liano.
Hello.
Gosh, I want some gossip, but we're not here for that.
Busy woman, busy barrister, mum of two, entrepreneur, TV star.
Oh my God,
how do
my
we
hair
balance?
was not this big when I
How do we balance it all into our life?
Oh, well, it is a bit of a juggling act, I must say. But I think I just take a day at a time and make sure that I get through what I've committed to do on that day and I don't waste a day.
That's good.
Now, you've had a couple of your own health scares.
Yeah.
How important is your health and well-being?
Well, my dad used to always say, if you don't have health, you have nothing, which is really true because if you're not well, it's all over, isn't it? You know, I've got friends and myself, I was diagnosed with cancer and it was a bit like getting hit by a bus and your life just stops, you know.
Literally. It's
literally
it's
stops
just
in
about
its tracks.
treatment.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
So health is everything.
Now, sometimes when we aren't feeling very healthy, the one way I can feel good is by a fresh tan.
Oh, wow.
Now,
yes.
this is a whole new world.
Yes.
Can we talk about flawless?
Well, I tell you, how you feel is half the battle, you know that,
Right,
don't
it
you?
is.
So, and I remember when I was going through cancer treatment, that's what a doctor said to me, how are you feeling? I said, oh, no, okay. Well, that's half the battle, doll. So, you know, so if you can do things, I'm not talking about when you're not well, I'm talking about in life generally, you know, that make you feel better and you look better, then you are better. I think that's just naturally what happens.
Let's have a look at them.
And the tanning, well...
is there one that'll suit me, Gina?
Oh, look, they'll all suit you, darling.
Why is that
I
funny?
actually developed a special version for you. It's called Orange. No. No, I just thought, well, you know, if you've got a blouse on, you can hide it.
Usually on Tuesdays I do.
Tuesday,
so you
do
caught me on
you?
an off day, yeah.
But actually, a lot of guys do tan, you know, and my inspiration behind this was I used to go to a tanning salon, which is a bit naughty.
As in like a solarium.
Yeah.
Naughty.
Very naughty. And, you know, it was banned across Australia, as we all know.
Yeah.
And I'm an ambassador for the Cancer Council of Victoria. And when I joined that ambassadorship, one of the things that we promoted was being sun smart.
Yep.
And I thought, oh, OK. I may have had a couple of solariums along the way. But in any event, I thought, well, no one wants to be white and we don't all have time to go out in the sun.
Yep.
And, well, some of us want to be white, but most people like to look like they've got a healthy glow. So I thought, well, this is a solution for me and I'm going to share it with the world if they're interested in seeing it. But, you know, developing this was a lot of fun. And
I can
and
imagine, because you are a tan queen. I'm
am.
feeling a little bit inadequate right now.
No, I don't think so.
We have a spray, a mousse, a cream. So there, I mean, I know you understand what I'm talking about now.
Right with you, babe. Yeah.
And the mitt, which...
And there's a gradual tan, which is...
and that's easy, isn't it? Because
yeah, well, that's not tinted, so it's a moisturiser that's really nourishing on the skin. And what
Smell
it does...
good?
It smells divine, I think.
Can I smell? Which one?
Here.
This will go like hotcakes with Spring Racing Carnival. Everyone wanting to look out.
Yeah,
spring-like
I think so. And being summer, so it's not... It's...
Is it safe for pregnant women?
Yes.
Oh, coconuts.
Beautiful. It's yummy,
Oh,
delicious.
my Lord.
But look, the thing is that when it develops, it doesn't develop into a fragrance that's pungent, like popcorn or curry, which is what some of them smell
You do
like.
smell
You know,
like that
you
for a
wake
while.
you do, and it's like, oh, have you got that hideous tan on again? It's atrocious.
Yeah.
So I was
also
very
read
careful.
paraben-free, which is really important
Paraben-free, yes.
to me.
Yeah.
And we have some extra things coming out. I was talking about the exfoliators and the
Yes.
removers, and that's coming very, very soon.
Exfoliating cream, a mitt, and also a tanning oil.
Gosh,
And a spray gun.
what an
that we're working on.
entrepreneurial hat you wear. Congrats on that. What else is next for you and the fam? Keep you even busier?
Well, I'm working on a whole lot of other products. I've got an evening wear range coming.
Do you?
Yeah. It's sort of in the blood, isn't it, really, with the Liano name. We've been in the fashion industry for a long time. And what else have I got? Face creams, cosmetics, lipsticks, you know, the whole thing. Anything girly. I think to myself, well, anything that matches being a girl, you know, I'm into.
Yeah, well, I'm into it too. So you need most of these.
Thanks.
I'll take one, and we'll come back looking rather delicious.
And no more prying Gina for gossip about the next season.
Housewives.
She's beside herself.
So excited for the next season.
Lovely to see you.
will love it.
Thanks for being with us. Now, if
Thank
you are
you.
having problems with your joints, we have the A to Z of vitamins after the break, which is a must-watch for you. Welcome back. Favourite part of the show now, the A to Z of vitamins we learn so much. Chatting about combating joint pain. We all know if we go running, jogging, walking even, places some pretty high stresses on our joints, and we don't have the cushioning that we need anymore in later years with, I guess, cartilage being eroded. What can we take naturally?
When we talk cushioning, Ed, we talk glucosamine. So this is a way of basically putting mattress springs in your joint.
Nice.
Because those when the joint starts to wear and tear, and you hear the phrase joint on joint, bone on bone.
Oh yes, no one wants that.
So glucosamine is superb stuff that we make ourselves, but as we age and as we exercise a lot, the level of it starts to drop away.
Question,
Yes.
how long do we need to take it before we have a nice cushion?
About 30 days, but sometimes people find it quicker.
Okay.
Sometimes a little longer. But on average, its anti-inflammatory effects take 30 days.
Our surgeons are geniuses, yet we've not found a way to make new cartilage. Gosh, that'll be a good day to ease the bone on bone.
And
but
a little note about glucosamine, the raw source is actually shellfish.
Okay.
So if you've got a shellfish allergy, you have to find a shellfish-free version of glucosamine.
Can you just eat a lot of shellfish and then get your glucosamine?
Not possible to eat enough.
Okay.
But you can give it a try.
I love shellfish.
Alrighty, great advice there. Now, shall we jump into a few more of our calls?
Yes, we will.
We have Janice standing by in Emu Plains in New South Wales. Go ahead.
I'm 75 years old. I have a pacemaker and I am concerned about whether if I buy a 4G mobile, whether it could be dangerous to me.
Oh, OK. Well, there's electronics within the pacemaker.
Yes,
Fair
there are.
query.
And it's fairly content.
interferes?
We're talking electromagnetic interference.
Right.
And I'm a pharmacist and I'm a herbalist, but I'm not an electronic specialist. But the evidence seems to show that there might be some risk. So, Janice, a couple of suggestions. When you're talking on the phone, use it on the side opposite where your pacemaker is in, and don't carry your phone in your shirt pocket.
Yeah,
near
right.
it. So
What
there-
about hands-free? She could just go hands-free.
Yeah, of course, that's different. It's
Okay.
different. But the research on this is ongoing.
On my radio show, we've spoken to cardiac surgeons and so on. Remember the old days of the pacemakers? They were like a big deck of cards.
yes.
These days, they're like a tiny 5-cent piece. They're quite incredible.
They are tiny, but they are sensitive.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we're talking about electromagnetic interference that we're beginning to get a bit of a handle on now.
Alrighty, next we have an email from Jill in South Yarra, Victoria. She writes, my son's 12, has pimples on his face. What can I do to get rid of them naturally, as I'm worried about this, as every teenage boy and girl probably would be?
We've all been through it, haven't we? The simple solution, Jill, is zinc. Zinc seems to block the risk of the little fat duct getting blocked and infected. So it stops that pussy development, and you take a zinc each day. Good cleansing, good moisturising, antibacterial wash, and eating sensibly, which at age 12 sometimes can be a battle.
Alrighty, we've got to wind things up. Highlights from today?
Oh gosh, Gina.
Yes, your stretch
you
marks. Your stretch marks was my highlight.
I don't have the stretch marks.
That's why it's a highlight.
Playing ball with the Kings. How good is it?
yeah.
NBL is on. Now, before we go, thanks to everyone who has appeared on the show today. Big thanks, of course, to our friends at Chemist Warehouse for getting behind us here at the House of Wellness.
Enjoy your week. We will see you next time.
I bet you're thinking about food. See you soon.
How did you know?